Hello, everybody. Did I do this correctly? I'm trying to go. Here we go. And make sure you guys can see me. Oh, what a day this has been. Hey, guys. Oh, you guys came in quickly. Hey, Ganja Kitty. Oh, look at my baby. I love you. Guys, as per usual, I never know when I'm going to go live. Somebody mentioned that I'm supposed to do an announcement when I'm going live, but I'm just not savvy enough to do that. Maybe my new assistant, yes, I finally hired an assistant, will be able to help me when he starts next month. But yeah, today's live, I didn't get a chance to title it, but I will be titling it when I save it. Before I get into that though, look at my nails. Aren't they cute? I wanted to get pink nails, but I couldn't decide which color pink. So I literally just used all of them. I'm such a girly girl. I know some of you guys find that hard to believe because my job makes me feel like I'm so much tougher than I am. But that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys today about. Today's live, what I'm going to title it is No is a Complete Sentence. That is the topic of today's live because I've been doing something very new. And something that I always tell my clients, for those of you who know, Sundays when I do client calls, I usually am on the phone right now, but I started earlier than usual, so I finished earlier than usual. So I just finished my last client call. It was really cathartic. I got off the phone feeling, I get so fed from these calls as much as people who come to me for readings do. But it was a beautiful reading, and it made me feel like I wanted to connect with you guys about the kind of week I've been having. But earlier this month, and this is the last day of January, but January 1st, I woke up and said, I need to do things differently because every December I'm burnt out. Every December I find myself on Christmas or New Year's crying about how exhausted I am because I just do too much. I do too much for me. I do too much for others. And oh, look at all the people waving. Hey, y'all. Oh my God. I didn't know it's gonna be so many of you. But no, I just do a lot. And by the end of every year, it always catches up with me. And I was like, I do not want to be December 2021 and be burnt out again. How do I do things differently? And I realized that the same way Shonda Rhimes had a year of yes, I was going to have a year of no, right? I was going to have a year where I got better about how much energy I give to people and to things. Because just because you're abundant doesn't mean you have to always say yes. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you always should do something, right? And so I've started saying no recently. People who usually know that they can come to me for anything, I've had to be honest when I'm just not at the bandwidth of doing it or when they just aren't deserving, right? Because sometimes you can love somebody and you do something for them and they're ungrateful. And so even though you have the capacity to keep doing it, it's time to stop doing it because they're ungrateful. And so I've been saying no extra hard all week. And I wish I had known Mercury retrograde was coming because the problem with saying no to people who that you have spoiled, I'm taking responsibility. I spoil everybody that I love, right? If I'm dating you, I'm spoiling you. If you're in my family, I'm spoiling you. My own mother, I spoil her. I spoil everybody I love. I am a Taurus. We love to spoil people, period. Okay. I trick myself out for my loved ones and I'm not ashamed about it. But when you tell a spoiled person that you've made spoiled, no, two things are going to happen. Number one, they're going to have to check themselves and realize, ooh, she's saying no, that never happens. Feels kind of funny. Don't like this, but you know what? She's been so good to me. She deserves the right to say no. Then there are going to be people who you say no to them and they show their asses. Guess which group I want to talk about today? Let me drink some water before I say something petty. So I've been saying no all week. And for the most part, most people, even though I could tell they were taken aback, have taken it on the chin. But a couple people have not reacted well. And this is the thing that breaks my heart, right? And this is something that I had to learn a long time ago. If you always say yes to someone and they're lovely to you, and the first time you ever say no to them, they disrespect you, guess what that means? They never really respected you. They just saw you as a resource. If I can say yes to you for months and months and years and whatever else, and you're always lovely to me, and the first time I say no, you are disrespectful, you are nasty, and you throw a tantrum like a child, that means this whole time you weren't really respecting me like an equal. You were seeing me and treating me like your mother and like a resource. That is not love, right? And for those of you who've been rocking with me for a while, love and respect to me are synonymous. So if you don't respect me, that also means you don't love me. You can say you love me all you want, but if you disrespect me, in that moment, I do not feel loved and I'm not accepting it. So I was very deeply disrespected this week. Disrespected more than I've been disrespected in years. Okay? Disrespected in a way that most people know to be scared to disrespect me. And I will say this happened not in person because let's be honest, nobody gets froggy with me in person. I don't want to act like I'm a goon, but people who talk crazy to me on the phone, they get real reasonable face to face. So I think one rule that I'm going to have is I'm never going to have another difficult conversation on the phone. If we're going to have a difficult conversation and you live in the same town as me, you better come to my house and say it to my face. But I was very deeply disrespected, and I walked away from that conversation disgusted, but also like, that's information, right? The person that I thought I thought so highly of two people. This happened with two different people, of each of them. And then they showed their asses and I was like, okay. Am I going to now talk about them as if they're horrible people? No, I'm not. But I am going to admit that having them show their asses, and both of them were men, by the way. This was two grown men. Having two grown men show their asses at me in the matter of a few days, just because I said no about something that was a gift and that I didn't have to give them, let me know that I need to be more diligent about showing discernment about who I give what to, right? Because here's the thing. A lot of people have trust issues and or are just not abundant because, they have limited resources. And therefore, you have to work up to them trusting you and doing nice things for you. I am the opposite. I'm an abundant bitch, which means everybody that I meet that I enjoy starts off at 100 and has to talk me out of being abundant with them. I have enough to go around, right? So if I fuck with you, you're going to get a lot of perks. If I see a gift that makes me think of you, I'm probably going to get it for you. If I have a connect who can get you like a gig or something amazing, I'm going to connect y'all. If I'm throwing a dope ass event that I think that you would enjoy, I'm going to invite you. You're going to be treated like a king up front. And it's up to you to convince me that you are a pauper, right? It's up to you to convince me that you are undeserving so I can start taking things away. But I always start all my relationships at 100. And the thing is, people, particularly in LA, where everybody is stingy and has an agenda, when they meet someone like me who gives 100 up front and then you have to talk me out of giving you abundance, when they meet me, they think I'm a mark, right? They think that, she's being nice because she is just, a mule. She's being nice because, she wants my approval. She's being nice because I'm attractive. She's being nice because I have clout. What they don't realize is somebody broke and ugly is going to get the same love from me because that's just how I show up, right? You being cute, you being on TV, you having connections, you being in the industry. I don't give a shit. Cool story, but that's not why I'm being abundant towards you. I'm being abundant towards you because I like you as a human being and I feel safe with you and I enjoy you. Conversely, once I no longer like you as a human being or no longer feel safe with you or no longer enjoy you, guess whose perks get taken away? And I have had to grapple with the fact that there are people that I was being kind to, not because they owe me. By the way, if you're one of those people who, whenever you do something nice for somebody, you throw it in their face, please know that we are not kindred, and that's not what this is about. I don't need to know or list off what I've done for anybody because I did it because I wanted to, not because they owe me. So let's not do that, right? There's a couple folks who do that who are going to pretend that this is what this is about, and that's not it at all. What I'm saying is, when you are good to someone, just good from the bottom of your heart, even if you're a broke bitch and you're just good by giving somebody your time, when you are good to someone and are actively showing up as a blessing to someone because you sincerely are invested in their improvement and their advancement, and you just sincerely love seeing people happy. If y'all understood how much joy I get being a cheerleader, if you ever see me in the comment section of the Shade Room or my friends' pages or whatever, I'm always the obnoxious one, like, yeah, fuck it up, bitch. I love that shit. I love cheering people on. You know why? Because the more confident people that are walking around the world, the less of like crazy I'll look being confident. When everybody around you is insecure and you're confident, you look crazy. So it behooves me to champion other people to be confident so we can all look the same. It's self-serving, right? The doper you are, the least likely you are to be upset that I'm dope. I'm just being honest, right? Abundant people want you to be abundant as well so that you can't be a hater. So this is not me being altruistic. It's me just being smart. A miserable person next to me while I'm constantly winning at life is going to be a liability. So it behooves me. It behooves me if you're going to be around me to also help you win. So that your shit gets to be your shit and my shit gets to be my shit. One of the most amazing quotes I ever heard was Oprah Winfrey when she said, the reason why her and Gail are friends is because Gail does not want to be her. Everybody wants to be Oprah but Gail. And that's why Gail is Oprah's best friend, right? I don't want anybody around me who wants to be me. I want to be around people who are so fucking abundant that they compliment me while still doing their own thing. So a lot of folks are not used to healthy love. A lot of folks are not used to being poured into from that space of if we eat together, we all win. A lot of people are used to folks being nice to them because they're handsome or rich or whatever. And they assume that when you're being good to them, it's because you want their dick or you want their time or X, Y, and Z, because they can't conceptualize that you're just a decent human. Right? And conversely, because their ego has convinced them that you are only being kind to them because you have an ulterior motive, because everybody they meet who's nice to them has an ulterior motive, when you say no, they don't hear it as you setting a healthy boundary. They take it as a rejection. If you assume that I'm being nice to you because you're cute, and then I say no one day, you're thinking maybe I'm not cute today. Gag. It was never about how you look. Nobody's that cute. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Nobody's dick is big enough. Nobody's bank account has enough zeros for me to be nice to them if I don't like them. I have rejected some very attractive, affluent people from my life. So that doesn't work on me. And so it's one of these things where folks who are used to dealing from a place of lack, when they hear no from me, the abundant well of resource, they take it very, very badly because they're projecting all their shit onto what that no means. When in reality, the no just means I ain't got it today, or I just choose not to give it. That's another thing too, guys. When you ask a yes or no question, you always have to be willing to acknowledge that no is as much a possibility as a yes. And out of the two arguments I had, the one that rocked me and disgusted me the most was someone who I had never said no to, and therefore asked me a question assuming it was yes. And when I said no, he lost his shit. That, by definition, is called entitlement. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care how good I am to you. I don't care how loving I am to you. Hey, Blair. Oh, I love you, Blair Bear. Oh, you're a phone call. I don't care how good I am to you. I could wax poetic about what a good friend I am all I want. If I ever was good to you and one day I ask you for a favor and you say no, I will never say, oh, you owe me. I'll be like, oh, okay, that sucks. And I'll make a joke about it and I'll respect your no. Perfect example. My best friend of 23 years turned me down this week for something that I needed him to do for me. 23 years, okay? I've known him since before I knew what body parts did to each other. Like, I was a virgin when we met, and I'm clearly not a virgin anymore. Okay? I've known him my entire adult life, and something that I asked him to do for me this week, he said no. And he gave me an explanation. He's like, look, I love you, but I can't X, Y, Z. And I'm not going to lie, because we all have egos. Like, by the way, stop with the whole I don't have an ego thing. We all have an ego. It's just a matter of having a balanced ego or an overfed, obese ego, right? My body is big, but my ego is fit, okay? And so my ego had a little flare up. I was like, wait, I'm your best friend of 23 years and you're going to say no to me? And I was like, oh, but bitch, he's allowed to say no. And he doesn't have the bandwidth. Respect that. And so, yes, I had a moment where I felt away, because you're supposed to feel away when somebody says no. Nobody likes to hear no. But I checked myself and said, okay, love, I understand. You know what that's called? The space between my ego and my words is called respect. When your ego is upset, but your words are loving, that's called respect. That gap in between is called respect. So to have somebody else have the same scenario with me 2 hours later, where they ask something of me, and I say, actually, hard pass, no. And they cuss me the fuck out. This all happened in the same afternoon. The space where your ego says, I'm mad, and your mouth also says you're mad, and you don't buffer anything, that's called a lack of respect. That's called entitlement. So I think it was kind of divine that I got to prove to myself that I respect and love people and respect boundaries at like 3 o'clock. And by 6, I got to see what the other side looks like. I'm going to tell y'all right now, a lot of my self-esteem comes from the fact that I constantly get tested on my own shit, and I constantly pass these tests, right? Because a lot of gurus out there, there's a lot of people who call themselves gurus, please don't ever call me that, who think that they are life coaches. I feel like everybody with a yoga mat and Wi-Fi thinks they're a life coach. No disrespect, but it's true. And no tea, no shade, a lot of you are not equipped, okay? But a lot of people who have a following and, you know, a couple of cute photography pictures and some quotes that they got off of Google act like they are equipped to be life coaches. I've been coaching for 20 years and even I don't flex that hard, right? And it's because they know how to say the right thing. That is not the test. The test of someone who deserves to actually be teaching others is someone, when they are tested in a moment of adversity, actually do what they say they're going to do. I say on Instagram that when someone comes at me crazy, I will always, always, always know my discernment, know my lane, set a boundary, and refuse to be gaslit. And in that argument I had a couple of days ago, every single one of those things happened. And what should have been an argument that pissed me off, although it did piss me off because nobody likes to feel disrespected by someone that they love, right? While the conversation itself pissed me off, when I stepped away from the conversation, I feel like I had gotten a pop quiz and I had gotten 100. Because in that conversation, every time this person lied, I said, stop lying. That didn't happen. Every time this person tried to gaslight me or guilt me into feeling bad, I said, don't do that. Do not project your shit onto me. I love you so much, but you're not going to do that. Every time this person tried to emotionally manipulate me in order to not take responsibility for their actions, despite the fact that I deeply care about them and have an emotional attachment, I did not let my emotional attachment stop me for standing up and advocating for myself. That's when you know you've made it, guys. When somebody you adore is talking to you crazy and you recognize that all you have to do is eat a pile of shit to make things better, and instead you choose to respect yourself, even at the risk of losing them, that is when you know that you finally made it. And also, I'm going to say this to you guys. Anybody you got a lie to keep probably wasn't yours to begin with, right? If I have to pretend like you're not being a jackass to keep you in my life, you're probably not somebody I need in my life anyways. If I have to pretend like you didn't just disrespect me in order to keep you in my life, you're probably not somebody I need in my life anyways. If I'm going to let you lie about what's happening as it's happening and let you blame me for your actions, you're probably not somebody I need in my life anyways. And then what made it worse is I got a fuckboy apology afterward. And the apology was, I'm sorry for what I did, but you made me do it. Raise your hand if you know what's wrong with that sentence. Raise your hand if you know what's wrong with an adult saying that they are apologizing, but that it's your fault that they make poor choices. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of hands raised. You guys are so petty. And that's the thing, guys. This is not a call out, right? Because again, I said no to 5 or 6 different people this week. 2 of them had a very bad reaction. One of them probably broke my heart because now I have to reassess everything around them. And yet, I'm on this live glowing on this Sunday, feeling like I am even more of who I said I was. That is the beauty of being emotionally intelligent, is that even when life reveals that someone is undeserving, or even when life reveals that someone's not as emotionally mature as you had hoped they were, even when life reveals that you've been taken for granted and reciprocity is not present, when therefore neither is love, because love and reciprocity and respect are all in this big orgy together. You guys know I'm a little nasty. Even when that happens, if you show up as your own advocate, if you show up as someone that you can stand behind, it's not really a loss. It's just clarity. And clarity is never a bad thing. I will never feel bad for being clear, right? If you are not somebody that I was wisely investing in and you showed your ass in a way that makes it hard for me to invest in you further, that's a gift. By the way, somebody's like mowing my lawn, so I apologize for the noise in the background. Oh, wow, there's a lot more. Somebody said I have beautiful eyes. Ciao. It's just the sun. By the way, there's a lot of amazing sunlight in my new house. Is this a house? This is supposed to be an apartment, but all my friends keep telling me it's a house. It kind of feels like a house. It's a duplex. But no, I needed to have this conversation with you because Mercury hit retrograde yesterday. And there's going to be, somebody said that was a, Russ said, she thought it was a vibrator. You're so nasty. No, Russ, it is not a vibrator. It was somebody mowing their lawn or something. But no, like I feel like Mercury in retrograde, somebody said, girl, I thought that was a cat. You guys thought it was a cat and a vibrator? Guys, I am not that freaky. I don't know what you think happens in this house, but it's all consensual and none of it involves animals. But no, Mercury retrograde is now upon us. So for the next 3 weeks, a lot of you are going to be having the same tense, angry, who the hell is this person yelling at me at my phone? I thought you loved me conversations that I've been having. And I need you to stand in knowing that there's still a way to have difficult conversations and still respect yourself. What is that noise? You guys, I've been living here for 3 months. I've never heard that noise. That noise is just for you. Somebody said, girl, Mercury, ugh. Yeah, Mercury retrograde kind of sucks, guys. It's not the best thing. But one thing I will say is be careful about entering new relationships during Mercury retrograde because everybody looks shiny and everybody's going to be lonely. I'm going to be honest right now. A bunch of you are rushing to date people because it's Valentine's Day is coming. And it's so sad. I cannot tell you, I have like 3 or 4 friends who are rushing to pretend that people they just met are their new boos just because they don't want to be alone for Valentine's Day. By the way, that's called insecurity. If you have to rush a relationship just so that you can have somebody on February 14th and not because they actually deserve to be somebody you're in a relationship with, that's because you care more about symbols than actual emotional connection. If I happen to be with somebody on Valentine's Day, then I happen to be with somebody on Valentine's Day. If I meet the person on the day after, I meet the person on the day after. But I don't need to rush. I don't need to rush to have somebody for February 14th just so I can flex on Monday and prove that I'm lovable because I didn't spend that Sunday alone. What's wrong with spending a Sunday alone? What's wrong with having a day of self-care? So you're going to pretend to care about somebody more than you do and rush to the altar just so that you can have something to flex about on the gram? Plot twist. It never works. So for anybody who is saying, damn, tomorrow's February 1st and I wasn't able to finesse a random date so I could flex and feel lovable on the 14th, please know that's not what actual confidence looks like. Actual confidence looks like there are several people who want to talk to me because I'm amazing. I'm going to take my time choosing who makes the most sense. I don't give a fuck what the calendar says. And you know what? I think part of this year of receiving, that's what I'm not calling it the year of no. I'm saying no a lot, but I'm calling it the year of receiving, right? In 2021, I am only engaging with people who are abundant to me in the way that I've been abundant to everybody else. I'm looking for romantic gestures. I'm looking for coworkers who appreciate my input. I'm looking for colleagues who pay me what I'm worth. Shout out to Jason Lee. He always does that. And the Griot, they also pay me very well. I'm looking for opportunities that highlight who I really am and allow me to be my best self. This year for me is only about receiving, because any blessing I get in 2021, I've already paid for in advance. And I feel like a lot of you are in that space where for years, you've been pouring into people and getting nothing back. I'm telling you, this is the year where you get to stop tap dancing for approval and sit back and say, universe, run me my fucking blessings. Okay? I pay for everything twice in advance. Anybody who stands next to me might get some ricochet blessings just because I have a surplus that is owed to me, right? So this year, I hope you guys can join me for the year of receiving. This year, I don't want to talk about what you did. I want to talk about what you received and how gracious you were when you got it. Don't offer me shit in 2021 that you don't mean. I'm going to say thank you. Please don't offer me nothing you don't mean. I'm going to say thank you so fast. You want to spoil me? Bad. Thank you. Oh, Blue, don't you want to, prove that you're an independent black woman and that you don't need nobody? Nah, fuck that. I did that for a long time. Where's my gift? Okay, somebody said claim it. I love the person who said claim it because there's an old saying that I can't stand that is fake it till you make it. Fuck that. Claim it until you become it. You're not faking anything. You're being a visionary. I claim things all the time and then turn around and like, oh, snap. 3 months ago, was it 3 months? I joined Hollywood Unlocked in late September, early October, so it's been like almost 4 months now. 4 months ago when I first joined Hollywood Unlocked, because of the shutdown, the lockdowns that were happening, we had to tape the show in our apartments, and I had a cute little bachelorette pad in downtown LA, and the green screen and all the cameras, it's like 5 cameras surrounding us when we shoot, ate up my apartment. And I remember sitting there with Jason Lee's production team like, y'all, if I'm gonna be on this show, I'm gonna have to move. Like, the room that you need to like set up all this equipment is literally where I live. Like, I don't have anywhere else. And I remember at the time I had just invested a lot of money in my candle business and a lot of money into branding and labeling and development. Because you guys don't realize when you are creating a new product, it takes a lot of money just to like have duds that don't work until you find out what does work. And so I had already like emptied out my savings account, and here I was like, oh shit, I have a blessing that requires me to move. I was like, I don't have enough savings to move, because you guys might not know this. I might be a single and childless, but I have a family that I like to take care of back home. You know what I mean? I'm West Indian from Latin America and the Caribbean. We always take care of our families when we make it. So my money, the same way African Americans like to tithe, I think you guys give like 10%. In Caribbean and West Indian and Latin American homes, we tend to send a little bit of money back. You know what I mean? And so between the money that I send back to my family and living in Los Angeles by myself, I was like, how the fuck am I going to move into a 2-bedroom that's big enough for all this equipment and like me to live without feeling like I'm living in my studio? Literally had no idea how it was going to happen. And 4 weeks later, I was moving into a new house. Money just came out the sky. The exact amount that I needed came out the sky, and I moved into this house, right? It's crazy to me how when you are in a space of constantly vibrating high, you get to something called the law of detachment, where you just ask the universe for what you want and then you go about your business and it shows up later. The reason why I want to talk about the law of detachment really quick is because a lot of you saw The Secret and you heard all about the law of attraction and then started wondering why it wasn't working. You know why it wasn't working? Because you're desperate. The universe is not like desperation. The stench of desperation actually pushes blessings away. Perfect example. If you're in a relationship and you don't trust your boyfriend and you're constantly watching him, guess who's going to leave your ass? Because he doesn't like desperation. Doesn't matter if he's a good man. A good man will leave you if you are completely desperate. Well, just think of the universe as a good boyfriend. If you ask the universe to do something for you and you are constantly on its ass and not giving it room to breathe, it will leave you alone and find somebody else. So I've gotten to a place where I can ask for stuff and believe that I actually deserve it. That's the hard part. And then go about my business, and then the blessing comes whenever it's meant to come. And so I think part of me doing this year of receiving and part of me saying no more often is that, like I said earlier, if I have to constantly say yes to you for you to be kind to me, if I have to constantly say yes to you for you to show me respect, if I have to constantly say yes to you for you to show me love, and the first time I say no to you, you show me your ass and you disrespect me, you never respected me to begin with. And now I've been gifted the opportunity to see you for who you really are. Now, for those of you who are going to throw tantrums during Mercury retrograde, because let's be honest, we like to call people good people and bad people. There are unless you are Hitler or Trump, there are not a lot of bad people in like the Wild Wild West, white jacket versus black jacket kind of way. Most of us are just flawed, fucked up human beings with varying degrees of therapy who are doing the best that we can to be decent. Okay? So I do not believe in good guys or bad guys. Nobody who showed their ass to me this week is a bad guy. Nobody who showed their ass to me this week is someone who's above being lovable. Nobody who showed me their ass this week could ever roll up to me in the street and be like, you were talking shit about me on Instagram. No, you are a flawed human being, and I was talking about you doing human shit. Right? And here's the beauty of being a flawed human being. When you show your ass, you still have the opportunity to take accountability for your actions. You still have the opportunity to say, you know what? I fucked up, full stop. I knew better, full stop. I let my anger get the best of me, full stop. This is how I'm going to do better, and I apologize for the way that I disrespected you. That's all it would take for a real apology. Instead, what a lot of you guys do, because your ego has you out here talking crazy, is, well, I wouldn't have done that if you hadn't done this. And I guess I'm sorry if I hurt you, but you didn't listen to me. Who the fuck are you to tell somebody what they need to do? Worry about yourself, okay? An apology should only be about you. For those of you out there who suck at giving apologies, if you're ever apologizing to somebody and you make it about anybody but you have fucking failed. Because guess what? I don't care if I tap danced with my middle finger up. You still chose to be a donkey. That was your choice. Own it. And the irony is, I don't show up like that. I actually argue in a very healthy way, where the only thing I do is don't lie to me during an argument, because a lot of you are emotional. I don't have any water in my chart. I don't get emotional during arguments. I actually get more clear. So if you say something that's untrue, but is emotional, I will never dishonor your ability to feel what you're going to feel, but I will always shit on your ability to make up facts that are not true. So you can feel whatever you want to feel, just don't lie about the facts, right? You're getting a glimpse into what it's like to argue with me, by the way, right now. Feel whatever you want to feel. All feelings are valid. All actions are not. And a lot of times people will say, Blue, my feelings are valid. And what they really mean is, I want to be absolved from my fuck shit actions. Just because your feelings are valid doesn't mean you get to act however you want. That's what separates us from monkeys who smear shit on the walls. It's called discernment. Use it. So, at the end of the day, I have never been more disrespected in the last 5 to 10 years than I have in the past 72 hours. But I've also never been more clear about my value, because anybody who loses me has lost a lot. Knowing that I'm the prize and knowing how abundant I am and knowing how purely I'm capable of loving people makes me feel bad for anybody who squanders that. That's not ego, that's factual. Like the Virgo one, we could just pull out a chart about all the losses that come from losing me. And not just financial loss, because that's fleeting. Not just clout, because what is clout? That's subjective. I mean, the level of wholehearted emotional investment that I make in people I love is rare and intentional at all times. I love very intentionally without agenda. My only agenda is to connect to you and to bear a witness to your life. If I see you winning, I feel like it's a gift that I have access to watch you win. That's the only agenda that I have. It is very rare to find anybody on this planet who will love you in that way. I had an ex one time who told me that I loved him bigger than his grandmother did. He's like, I thought my grandmother was the height of love, and then I met your ass. And I was like, well, that's sad, because I'm not even at full blast right now. I just met you, right? Pure-hearted love is something that is a superpower that I learned from my mother. That picture back there behind me, it's not my mom, but it reminds me so much of her. That's why I have it in my dining room. My mother is a beast when it comes to love. Her capacity for love actually makes me nervous. Like, if somebody talked to me crazy about my mother, she might shoot you in the face. Like, she loves me a little too much. I had a surplus of love, y'all. A lot of people talk about how they had a fucked up childhood. I had a fucked up childhood. My dad was a piece of shit. But my mother loved me so purely. It was like grade A uncut cocaine. Like the really, really expensive cocaine that only rich folks can get. And I remember being a child and thinking, yeah, none of the other kids' moms are this pressed. Like, I think my mom's on some other shit. I knew very early that I was getting something that was rare. And I would watch her, how she loved me. And I was like, yo, I feel like I'm the prettiest bitch that ever lived. I feel like I'm the smartest person on the planet. I feel so valuable and X, Y, and Z. And I would see my other little friends walking around feeling like crap. Mind you, we were all in the hood. We were broke. We were poor. So this has nothing to do with money. We eventually got money. But my family was poor. And I still was the most loved person on the block, right? And that was a very valuable lesson, because it taught me that there are some things that you can't buy or teach. You have to show. And so I always love people in the way that I want to be loved. And if you're sitting there constantly being loved by me and watching me show you what I like love to look like, and you're walking around being stingy, that's an active choice, because you can't even say you didn't know better. You're watching me. I'm showing you by example. You're just choosing otherwise. Oh, hey, Danielle. Danielle's in here. Also, too, I have to be honest about optics. I recognize that me being, let me refresh this real quick. There we go. I recognize that me being a cute black woman, I look like the kind of woman that is just supposed to, be there. Good old blue. I'm supposed to just always be there for everybody, because I'm, the soft, cute, bubbly, black girl. And we're always the sidekick, right? And so a lot of people, because I look like what society has told them should be a mule, it never occurs to them that I deserve as much compassion, grace, and everything else as somebody who was weaker or more demure. Why do I have to be a weak ass bitch for you to be nice to me? I cannot tell you how many times someone has come at me froggy because I seem like big bad blue. But then somebody else who's playing victim gets all this kindness and compassion. Oh, because she can't take it. We have to be nice to her because she's weak. So this might blow your minds. Strong women, capable women, black women deserve as much kindness as those damsels in distress that you've been taught to be kind to. Just because somebody's stupid doesn't mean my smart ass deserves any less kindness than they do. Just because somebody's weak doesn't mean that my strong ass deserves any less kindness. Like, I deserve as much kindness as a more sympathetic character. And I think a lot of you succumb to emotional manipulation. You need to be manipulated into being kind. Be kind just because you're a fucking decent human being. I shouldn't have to cry for you to be kind to me. I've had friends who had to see me cry, be like, oh, I didn't know you could cry. And suddenly they got nice to me. Why do I have to cry for you to be nice to me? Why can't I be having a good day and you still be kind to me? Why do I have to do something for you to show me respect? No is a complete sentence. That is, for those of you who came in late, that is the point of this live, is to empower everybody who sees it to recognize that no is a complete sentence. If somebody who is abundant and loving and good to you says no, respect that, because they never owed you a yes. All those yeses you got previously was a gift. They are allowed to choose if and when they give you any more gifts. No more entitlement in 2021. I might say yes 9 times out of 10, but recognize the 10th time when I say no, eat that shit. I'm allowed to say no. And this is also a warning to anybody in my life, because there's more no's coming. The folks who got their wig snatched this week is only the beginning. I'm going to be saying no a lot because I'm about to work on my book and I have a lot of other things I need to work on to put me first. I'm really bad at putting me first, but this year I'm putting me first. And putting me at the top spot means some of y'all have to come down a little bit. And so for anybody who rocks with me and only gets love and light and yeses from me, when you get your no inevitably, I need you to eat that. I need you to show me the same grace that I show you. I was talking to somebody at work the other day, a consultant, and she said, Blue, your voice is big, but your ego's actually pretty small. I was like, what? She was like, you have a big voice, but you have a small ego. She's like, you talk loud, you're rah, rah, rah. And I'm used to women who talk like that being like egomaniacs, but you actually don't really care about attention. You just care about connection. And I was like, oh, I'm going to use that. I might put that in my bio. Big voice, small ego. I have an ego though, because check it. The point of the ego is to protect what is weak, right? So when my friend, I'm not sure I can use that word anymore. When the person who I thought was my friend showed their ass this week and tried to emotionally manipulate me out of my no and turning it into a yes, my ego is what said, ooh, Blue's in a weak spot because someone she loves is manipulating her. Let's puff out her chest and remind her who the fuck she is so that she can fight for herself and advocate for herself. So the ego isn't a bad thing. The ego is what helps you advocate for yourself. You remembering who you are is what enables you to advocate for yourself. So I don't want anybody to have no ego. I want you to have a balanced ego that knows when to talk and when to shut up. Because what's happening is a lot of y'all have your egos writing checks that your heart can't cash. Right? The person who had the ego flare up, their ego needed them to be right. But when their heart needs me and I don't pick up the phone, now what? Your ego wrote a check your heart couldn't cash. And I'm a real ass bitch. When I cut somebody off, I mean it. There are several people in here who have cut off and come back and they can tell you, I'll put you on timeout for like a whole year and not even blink. Because I'm really clear about my value. So, this is going to be an interesting Mercury in retrograde. We're only 2 days in and already life is real spicy. And I will say this too, guys, just take assessment of who is pouring into you. Because I think a lot of us are, this all comes down to gratitude, right? I think a lot of us are ungrateful. Oh, Russ said me. Yes, Russ knows what it's like to go on timeout. A lot of us are ungrateful. Whoever is good to us, we take them for granted. And whoever doesn't give us enough, we sit around coveting and wishing we could get more from them. And so the person who's not giving you enough, you almost like glamorize them and want their attention. And the person who's loving you, you're giving them your ass to kiss because, of course, she's going to always love me. That's ungrateful. I did it myself. Growing up, I was a daddy's girl. My daddy was absent. How the fuck am I a daddy's girl? My mother's the one spoiling me. I just spent 5 minutes earlier talking about how amazing things my mother taught me. But it took me being a 26-year-old grown-ass woman, sitting in a little village in Haiti with my mother on a family vacation, and having her tell me how much my dad broke her heart for me to realize all these years I've been crying over the man who wasn't there while completely ignoring the woman who was pouring all this love into me. We all do it. There's no shame in being ungrateful. The shame is recognizing it and not doing something to course correct it. If any of the people who disrespected me this week gave me a real apology where they take accountability, would I still trust them? No, because trust is something that has to be re-earned. So it would take them weeks, maybe months to earn my trust back, but I'd still be open. I'm a very reasonable person. But I'm never, ever, ever going to be able to trust somebody who's not going to even be able to admit where they were failing. It's impossible. I wrote this early on my Instagram. It's impossible to learn from a mistake that you refuse to admit you even made. Also, scientifically speaking, love and fear are two very opposing, diametrically opposed energy fields. Love and fear cannot occupy the same space. I'm in a place right now that even when I'm mad, I am steeped in love. Steeped in it. It's disgusting at this point. I'm steeped in love, which means if you're coming at me with fear, we're never going to be able to share the same space for very long. Someone said, you still wanted him though. I understand you. Child, I want myself. I want myself to be in the situations where I'm respected. That's what I want. I want respect more than I want any human being on the planet. The minute you disrespect me, I no longer want you. It's really that simple for me. So, I need you guys to really be honest with yourselves about who are you being ungrateful towards? Is there a friend who's always there for you, but it's been months since you said thank you? Or, told them how much they mean to you? Is there a colleague who always has your back that you take for granted? Because good old Bob always got it. That you maybe owe, an edible food arrangement to? We all have moments of being ungrateful. We all show our asses, at least internally, when we hear the word no. But the difference between those of us who are emotionally intelligent and those of us who are immature and pretending to be emotionally intelligent is the space between you feeling the rejection and you opening your mouth is where all the choice is. If you choose to check yourself and show respect despite the fact that your ego is bruised, that is love. If you choose to show your ass and project all your insecurities and feelings of rejection onto other people, that is ego. And I'm going to be honest, y'all. I have dated a lot recently. I think I've been very honest about this. And the more people that I go on dates with, the more that I realize that the person that I'm supposed to be with is someone who doesn't need me to be less of who I am, but who wants me to be even more of who I am. Right? And I think a lot of us feel like we have to be smaller versions of ourselves to find love. And please do not let the fact that somebody's married and on Instagram with pretty pictures tell you. If I told you how many friends I have with gorgeous Instagram feeds with their kids and their husband who are miserable as hell and would kill to switch places with me, it'd make you cry. We did a whole IG live about that a couple weeks ago, about how the hierarchy of happiness is being in a healthy relationship with somebody else. Step 2, the second rung, is being in a healthy relationship with yourself. And at the very bottom is being in a fucked up relationship. Okay? So if you are in a healthy relationship with yourself, you are actually several steps above those who are in unhealthy relationships. The only step above me right now is finding somebody healthy to be with. Which is why when I meet somebody attractive and fun, but who's full of shit, that's actually a step down. Hard pass. Hard pass. I probably should have kids soon though, because my mother keeps crying about it. So I'm thinking about freezing my eggs, because getting married out of desperation just isn't my testimony. But yeah, I'm thinking about having a live maybe on Valentine's Day, depending on what my plans look like. Because I just want you guys to take away this thing that, oh my God, it's January. I have to go and slide in somebody's DMs and find a fake boo so I can have somebody to stump within the 14th. Like, cut that shit out, bruh. Who are you doing that for? You're either doing it for the gram or you're doing it for the insecure part of you that hates being alone. Either way, it's not a group that really is worth impressing. I think I've said enough. Are there any questions? I feel like I missed so many questions. You're all saying, I love that. That's the truth. Edible fruit arrangement. Yes, I'm big about sending edible fruit arrangements. Russ is in here. When I care about you, I will send you an edible fruit arrangement. That's another thing too. Oh, another thing too, I will tell you guys. V-Day is overrated. Love yourself. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a romantic. I love any excuse to be wooed. I love romance. I watch too many romantic comedies. I want all the roses. I want all the chocolates. I want a horse. I want whatever the fuck you got. Run it. So I don't mind the spirit of V-Day because it's an excuse for people to do all the things that I love anyways. What I do mind is, though, having a fake rushed relationship just for V-Day. That just means you're insecure. That's not a flex. That's another thing too. People who flex hate me because a lot of flexes are actually really sad and pathetic if you like pull back the layers. The real flex is just liking yourself. The real flex is being on IG with no fucking makeup and bags under your eyes and still feeling like you're cute enough to have this conversation. That's a flex. But being able to show off, like, you know, some roses on the bed and on the floor that you have to clean up later. Ooh, that's great. Someone says, do you believe in divine feminine energy? I absolutely believe in divine feminine energy. That's what I'm tapping into right now. My divine feminine is the reason why I'm so big on receiving and not giving, right? Because I think a lot of women who do not have strong masculine energy in their lives, they become it. They're like, well, I don't have a strong man, or for those of you who are part of the LGBTQ, I don't have a strong masculine energy around me, so I'm going to be the hyper masculine figure in my life to get things done. And that works to a certain degree. And if you're somebody who is, you know, non-binary, that's not an issue. But if you're a very, very feminine person like me with glittery pink nails who wants to have your femininity affirmed, at some point you have to put down the sword and the shield and be like, all right, I want somebody to hold me right now. I want to be held. I want to be soft. I need to figure out how to have that, which is why a lot of my friends, when they see me in relationships, are shocked. I'm incredibly soft in my relationships. I don't even raise my voice when I date people because soft feminine dating blue is not going to be, you know, pew, 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 op-ed on Instagram Live blue. I'm allowed to have different versions of myself. But I think a lot of you get really lazy and you see a strong woman in public and don't recognize that she could be somebody else behind closed doors with her boo. Give people permission to be multifaceted. Stop putting us in these little boxes. Oh, Blue, you're intimidating. Nobody that I've ever dated thinks I'm intimidating. Everybody that I've ever dated is like, you're too nice. So this is why you should not assume. I always say this, you never know somebody until you see them dating. Your most got it together homegirl, you see her with a fuck nigga, excuse my language, you're like, sis, I would have thought that you would have never been with somebody like that. Or you can have a friend who you think is weak as hell and you go see her at home and she is the boss of the house. You're like, oh snap, I didn't know you were a boss. You never really know someone until you've seen them in a romantic relationship. Do you know why? There are certain things about our insecurities that only get triggered when it comes to desirability. Because only in a romantic relationship are you asking, am I lovable enough for you to want me and desire me every day? No other relationship is going to ask that of you. It's easy to feel wanted and worthy and at work, because all you got to do is go to training and practice, right? You control that. It's easy to feel like a ball buster in social activism. All you got to do is figure out how to be on the right side of history and work on that. It's easier to be a boss-ass bitch when it comes to entrepreneurship. All you have to do is, get some benefactors and take your classes and have an innovative mind. You're completely in control of that. Even when the market is not yielding the results you want, you're still in control of having a powerful mindset. It is only in romantic relationship where you're like, ooh, it's above me now. You still like me? You still think I'm cute? Do my stretch marks bother you? Are my lips ashy? Is she cuter? Did you meet somebody else? Am I boring you? Is my sex good? Do I know how to give head? All these insecurities that literally have nowhere else to show up in romantic relationships. That is why I attract a lot of people who think I'm amazing and cute and fun and whatever. And the minute they're about to date me, they chicken out. Because for whatever reason, my approval means something to them. And the thought of me disapproving of them romantically would literally kill them. I have a couple of people who like me right now who are watching this who didn't know that I was on to them. I'm a psychic, guys. Like, half of my life is playing stupid, so I don't scare people. Right? That's the reason why a lot of people don't want to date me, because we all pretend that we want to be seen. But the truth is, when someone sees you clearly, there's nothing scarier in the world. Because now they can also see how you're full of shit. The friend who failed me earlier, it wasn't the first time he lied to me in an argument. It wasn't the first time he made excuses for his bad behavior. It was just the first time I let him know that I was on to him. Because I show people grace, right? If you're going to fudge the truth and pretend something's a misunderstanding when really you showed your ass and you got called out, but I feel like you have the intention to do better, I'll let it slide. I let things slide all the time. I play stupid all day long. But once you disrespect me, oh, honey, let me tell you how much I've really been paying attention. This is awkward. Do better. So yes, guys, I've had a hell of a week, and someone said, wow, that's a deep, queen. I don't know why being called queen makes me smile. Probably because my first fiance was from Philly, and so that makes me think of him. I wonder what he's doing. He's probably married to somebody else. Let me mind my business. Somebody asked what my sexual orientation is. I'm pansexual, which means I just like people. Like, if I'm in a room full of lesbians, you're going to think I'm a lesbian. If I'm in a room full of straight people, you're going to think I'm bi. You're not going to think I'm straight. But, yeah, I just like humans. Like, I'm attracted. I'm going to be honest, too. I really do believe this the older I get, that the fact that I'm a clairsentient, claircognizant, which means that I'm someone who reads energy. I think that's why I'm a pansexual, because energy is my first language. By the time I get to your genitals, I've already seen you as a person and fallen for you. And so now I don't care if you have a dick or not. You know what I mean? So I think that being pansexual is actually a symptom of the fact that I'm an energy worker. And so I'm drawn to energy, period. And whatever happens in your crotch, I'm going to have to deal with that and make it work. Somebody said first fiance. Yeah. So I've been engaged twice. Most of my friends did not know that until I started talking about it recently. I was engaged twice in my 20s. And then I had two other people who wanted to propose to me, and I stopped them because I knew I was going to say no. I didn't want to embarrass them. So there's been 4 people in my life who wanted to marry me, and I'm still unmarried. That's why when I say I walk the walk, if I was someone who just wanted to be able to stunt on the gram and have cute pictures and cute babies and do it for attention, I could have done that. 2 women and 2 men. I've had 4 chances now to be someone's wife. And the first 2 times I said no because I was too young and I had to explore my sexuality, and I knew that I'd be one of those women who would get a divorce at 35 and, have a broken marriage. So the first 2 times I said no was because I was just too young. The second 2 times that I stopped it for even getting that far was because the people who wanted to marry me, I was a great partner to them, so I get why they were asking, but they weren't great partners back. And so only one of us would have been happy. And by then I had started to have those conversations with myself about what am I getting out of this? You know what I mean? Also too, I will acknowledge it is a little bit trickier being someone like me, and dating, because how do I say this nicely? Oh God, I very rarely struggle to say things nicely. Attractive people who are used to being wanted by everybody tend to be very taken aback by how unmoved I am by them just because they're attractive, right? And so they'll lean in and be like, Blue, everybody's trying to get with me. Like, do you not see this? Like, what's going on? And by the time they lean in to figure out why I'm apathetic, we end up engaging in relations. And then it creates this ongoing problem that I have, that I'll be dating someone who's very shiny and attracted to everybody else, but I'm not the girl that everybody thinks that they would end up with. And then the person I'm dating is having to ask themselves, am I shallow enough to care that she doesn't look like what everybody expects me to end up with? This has happened to me 4 times now. To the point where when I meet somebody who's hella attractive, who's trying to get with me, I'm like, bruh, can you leave me alone? Because you pretty niggas are a headache. Like, leave me alone. Like, you got a medium ugly cousin who could holler at me because I don't want to deal with this no more. But it always happens. Like, a really attractive person who is, like, fascinated that I don't give a shit will lean in to get to know me, find out I'm dope, fall in love with me, and then have to reconcile with if they are willing to bring all their shallow friends around me. And now I'm just like, oh man. And the funny thing is, my confidence is really high, so I don't even feel bad. I'd be like, yeah, it's me. I'm big and cute. He picked me. It's awkward. You mad? You mad? You alright? You cool? You good? So I don't actually mind it. I'm not the problem. I'm cool with it. But they have to like a fucking midlife crisis because their vision board didn't have myself on it. You know, they had Beyonce on their vision board and I showed up. So it's a really weird thing when you're a confident girl. You become everybody's type. And nobody talks about this. When you're a very confident person, people who are not supposed to find you attractive still want to smash and be with you and be on your phone late at night. And then if they don't end up dating you and you're like, hey, let's just be friends. Let's just be homies. I'm like, all right. Which, by the way, fucks with them because they always think I'm going to cry about it, but they don't know I have other options. Like, everybody thinks that they're the only person who's doing this to me. I get this a lot, by the way, guys. Like, there's like a line of attractive people who think they're the only attractive person who's done this to me. It's really awkward. And so I'm like, all right, let's just be friends. Then they bring their girl around me who does look like the ideal. She's a baddie. And she's like, oh, Blue's so cute. She's not a threat. And then she catches how he's looking at me. And now it's awkward. Because I'm supposed to be the sidekick. Why is your man looking at me like that? Ciao. Y'all got me fucked up. I'm a different breed. I really am weird. My friends Norman and Obi are always telling me that I'm weird. They might be right. I don't know. I feel like my life hits different. But here's the thing, though. I think the reason why my life hits different is because I have the audacity to like myself at all times. That's it. That's what I'm trying to teach y'all. When you really fuck with yourself, a lot of things that are supposed to be barriers just aren't anymore. A lot of things that are supposed to stop you just don't anymore. A lot of people who are supposed to intimidate you just can't anymore, right? And so, this is actually the announcement I want to make before I get off. I have been talked into officially launching my self-mastery virtual workshops. I'm conceptualizing how to do it. I don't know if I want to do it as a video series that you can just buy all at once, or if I want to be more personal and have it being an ongoing weekly class where we all get together for 90 minutes every Sunday. Something about Sunday feels like my day to be spiritual. Do you guys have a vote? Which is better? A video offering that you can do in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning by yourself, or us having gatherings via Zoom every Sunday for self-mastery classes? Because I feel like there's a lot to unpack, and the character limit on Instagram isn't enough. My attention span on my live isn't enough. I need to find a more engaged way to have these conversations with you, because the clients that I talk to every Sunday, seeing how much these dialogues are helping them has made me realize that I have been sleeping on myself, and that there are so many people who can be helped by this. And I will tell you this, guys, I've turned down a lot of jobs that could have paid me a lot more than I get paid now because it didn't feed my purpose. I'm one of those rare breeds where, actually, let me not say a rare breed because that sounds self-aggrandizing. I am against what society teaches us about money comes first. For me, purpose comes first, right? And there's a lot of you who are actually probably just like that, so maybe it's not so rare after all. But if it doesn't feed my purpose, I don't care how many zeros, I'm not doing it. Like, the only reason why I said yes to Hollywood Unlocked was because Jason told me that I'd be able to talk about the things I'm passionate about in the middle of the fun mess that we do. And he's kept his word, by the way. He really has. So for me, whatever I do has to feed into my purpose, which is, highlighting emotional intelligence and freeing people and showing them how to free themselves, right? And so someone said it should be an ongoing gatherings on Clubhouse. No, I wouldn't do well on Clubhouse because Clubhouse relies on people lying, and I tell the truth too much. Wouldn't work. I might go on Clubhouse for a commercial to like do an infomercial and, introduce myself to people. But to have the actual sessions on Clubhouse, too much cap. People cap too much on Clubhouse. It's one of those things where people get to posture verbally the way they posture visually on Instagram. So I could not do Clubhouse. I could do it to a certain degree, but then it would hit probably a point where shit would get too real and folks would get their feelings hurt. Could you please save this live, please? Yeah, definitely. Hey, Miriam. Oh, I love Miriam. So yeah, I'm going to be starting my virtual workshops. Everybody's voting for the ongoing. I'm thinking of launching them in March. March feels good because I need to get February to myself to gather, right? But starting in March, we're going to be having ongoing sessions together, and it'll be like a really affordable like sign up thing, because if enough of you sign up, it's fine. I do need to get paid for my time. By the way, I'm not giving up my time for free. I get paid a lot of money per hour to talk, so I'm not going to be doing this for free, guys. So if you're thinking it's a free offering, I love you, but I don't have the bandwidth to be giving away that much. But it will be, oh, hey, Dr. Brittany, it will be a reasonably priced offering where we'll do like 6-week sessions. I feel like 6 weeks is when you can grapple with something and really sink your teeth in it before your attention starts to wander, right? And I'm going to be doing 6-week sessions where we deal with different facets. And it's going to be a 101, 102. It's literally going to be self-mastery classes. You guys don't realize that before I was doing digital media, I was actually writing teaching manuals at the Harvard School of Public Health. So writing as a teaching tool is actually my first passion. And so the idea that I get to have the kind of fun that we have on Instagram while actually teaching you guys how to do better, that excites me. What do they call it? Edutainment. I like the idea of edutainment. But what I can't stand is when you watch a TED Talk or really inspiring live and you feel so great about life and then you get off and you have no idea how to apply that shit to your real life. Okay, that's great. So you felt good for 45 minutes. Now what? I want people to feel good and be empowered to know how to make themselves feel good even after the sessions are over. So for me, this is not just about being seen and connecting with you guys for like the cheap thrill of an interaction. There's value in fellowship, but come on, it's fleeting. It's about literally arming you with the tools so that one day you can be on live talking about how can't nobody fuck with you because you fuck with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I want more people to just feel like this, because guys, I'm gonna be honest, knowing that everybody and their mother who's tried to make me feel bad about myself has failed so miserably is a great feeling. I feel like a damn superhero sometimes. Like, damn, everybody wants to try and none of y'all have succeeded. That's amazing. And that's why people who do show me love, I pour so much love into them. My friend and I were talking. What's up, Mary? My friend Mary and I were talking the other day, and she asked me if I felt bad about one of the people who showed their asses during my week of telling people no. And I said, the reason why I can love my tribe so thoroughly is because of how little time I spend worrying about those who don't deserve me. I don't miss anybody who doesn't deserve me. It's literally, I've been doing this for so long, it has now become physically impossible for me to miss you if you do me wrong. It's impossible. Like, I literally don't even know how to, my body can't find those synapses. I only light up for those who love me and who treat me well. People say there's no on and off switch to your emotions. Bullshit. You can train yourself to have an on and off switch. If you're good to me, I will lean in like, oh, you nice. What's good? Let's talk. You're healthy. You had a bad day. You still didn't take it out on me. You had some feedback from me that wasn't all that great, but you still said it in a way that was respectful. That's sexy. What you doing later? Conversely, if you are an amazing person, everybody loves you, but you treat me like a donkey, you could die right on the spot, wouldn't care. Like, I'm being honest. Like, my ability to attach has been trained to only attach to what is healthy. So no, I do not miss anybody who is unhealthy towards me. I do not miss anybody who disrespects me. Love might be unconditional. I still love them, but my engagement is very conditional. You have to be willing to pay the price of admission. And the price of admission is just basic fucking respect. The price of admission is being thoughtful. The price of admission is emotional intelligence. That's why I teach emotional intelligence so much, because I want more options of people to play with. Again, self-serving, right? I'm not some angel who's doing this just because. I'm doing this because I want more people who speak my language, so I have more people to play with. That's another thing that we're going to learn during the workshop is the word selfless is a lie. Everything comes back to self. All right. I hope this was a good live. It went many places. I had a bunch of people jump in. One of my exes jumped in. Didn't say hi to that nigga, but I saw you, boo. But yeah, no, you guys, this is good, because I've been thinking about doing these workshops with you, and it seems like there's interest there. And honestly, it can be as big or as small as it needs to be, right? If it ends up being just, 10 of us talking every Sunday, cool. If it ends up being 30, cool. My ego is not attached to the number of people who sign up. It's attached to the quality of the content and the engagement that takes place. So I'm going to figure out what's the highest number I can think of slots to open up for people who can engage in these conversations and still have it work out. Or I might do a thing where I do 2 different sessions, one on Fridays and one on Sundays, right? The beauty of COVID, guys, is that previously, before COVID, trying to do something on a Friday night would be like, no, everybody's out. You're all at home. So I actually might be able to do more sessions because we're all stuck in the house, right? And if I do it for 6 weeks for the first trial and they open outside back up and you have 6 weeks of being armed to intelligently engage with others, imagine how hot this summer gets to be. And if we're still in lockdown, I'll do another 6 weeks. I trust myself and the audience and the message enough to be organic about this and let it be whatever it's going to be. But please stay tuned for that. It's going to be happening in probably late February, early March. But if I do it sooner because the universe dragged me by my ears and makes me do it sooner, then I'll let y'all know. Mary, I hope you're there. I love Miriam. Miriam's such a good friend. Miriam's a perfect example of a gorgeous person who's even prettier on the inside. And a lot of you who've been hitting me up have said, Blue, you talk about emotional intelligence, but why are all your friends so attractive? Are you secretly shallow? That's a great question. I do like pretty people. Here's the funny thing is there's a difference between being shallow and being self-loathing. Like the colorist conversation has come up a lot. Like a lot of people have been hitting me up to ask me to be on panels to talk about colorism. And someone was like, what's wrong with being colorist? You're just shallow. That's the gag. Colorism is not about being shallow because there's a lot of people out there who are the top of the colorist food chain that aren't very attractive. They're just light. So that's awkward. I'm actually shallow. Tauruses like pretty people. If you're shallow, you like pretty regardless of what shade it is. If you're colorist, you think somebody's pretty because of their color. That's not shallow at all. There's some ugly people out there, facially ugly people out there who are winning just because of the right color. That's not shallow. Shallow means I can still see her face. It's an unpopular opinion, but let's keep it real, guys. Shallow means I'm actually looking at your face and not at your color. So I'm shallow, right? I do have a lot of pretty friends. I like pretty shit. I'm just not colorist or self-loathing or fat phobic. So if you're pretty as fucking fat, I'm still going to say you're pretty. If you're pretty as fucking dark, I'm still going to say you're pretty. That's shallow. But only thinking one kind of woman is attractive, regardless of if she's barking from the neck up, that is not shallow. So for those of you like, oh, I'm shallow. No, you're not. You're just colorist. There's a difference. All right. Someone said I love pretty stuff. I do too, girl. I love pretty stuff. And I really do need to pick a nail color. Like, who does this? I look like I've been playing with children. Okay? I really need to pick one nail color next time. I'm a Gemini rising, and my Gemini comes out with shit like this when I can't decide on a nail color. Someone said, can you speak about the Aquarius sign? My B-day is Friday. Okay, this will be a quick birthday gift before I go. Aquarius, I always say this, the aliens of the zodiac. You guys have a very fantastic dream world in your minds that the real world can never live up to. So instead of being depressed about how life should be more empowered about creating some of that beauty in real life for the rest of us. Aquarius make amazing artists, humanitarians, and the such. That's why my friend Muse, amazing artist, is an Aquarius. She wanted a beautiful world in her head to come out, and now she paints it for all of us. Oprah Winfrey. I think Oprah Winfrey is an Aquarius. Yeah, I think she is. She wanted the world to be more humanitarian, and she created it, right? So if you are an Aquarius, and the world has ultimately disappointed you, as it will if you are an Aquarius, please, instead of being mad that we are just ghetto humans on earth, create the beauty that you wish to seek. Create it. The rest of us can't see it. Make it for us. That is my shout out to all my Aquarius friends who are watching this and who have a birthday coming up or who have just had a birthday pass. Create the beauty that you see in your heads and share it with the rest of us. Someone said Aqua Rising. If you have Aquarius anywhere in your chart, this applies to you. It's a very amazing sign, but it's also the sign that is the most prone to depression. So please make sure that your mental health is a very intentional part of your daily regimen. Even if you can't afford a therapist, because let's be honest, finding a therapist, being able to afford a therapist is a luxury. And even if you're like me, you can afford it, being able to find a good therapist is still another luxury, right? If you can't afford or find a good therapist, at least start finding spaces where people are able to have healthy conversations, whether it's a forum on Facebook or a group that you can join or a page that you can follow. A lot of times when I post things on my page, I'm not going through anything. I'm just like, in case somebody doesn't have a therapist today, let me just share a good word. You know what I mean? Find things that can help you self-soothe until you can get the help that you need. Or just call a good friend who loves you and who can hold space for you. All right. All right. King, I hope that worked for your birthday. Shout out for Aquarius. Someone said, thanks. Their birthday's 2/15. By the way, Aquarius masculine energy. Quick shout out for you. Whenever I have a friend who's really bitchy and really difficult and she finally gets married, it's usually to an Aquarius man or a masculine Aquarius. You guys have a high capability of dealing with difficult feminine energy. So thank you for doing God's work. If whether you're an Aquarius man or an Aquarius lesbian who's masculine of center, Aquarius masculine energy is very good with difficult. And we'll unpack what that means later, women. So yeah, shout out to y'all. My mama, Scorpio, difficult, all over the place. She found her a man who was born on Valentine's Day. He's amazing to her. My other homegirl, who I swore would die alone, found her in Aquarius, and he loves her and doesn't mind that she's difficult. So that's a tip for you Aquarius masculine energy folks. You really do have a high level of grace that you show to feminine energy. And on behalf of all my homegirls and my mama, who has found love in y'all, thank you. Okay? All right, I really got to go, guys, because I got to do some meal prep. I've been on a weight loss journey, and I'm very hungry right now. So I got to go cook some food that, is not Postmates and stay on this because, this is about to be out here being snatched or whatever. I have a birthday coming up soon, so I want to be extra snatched for it. Also, too, it's not about my body at all. Funny enough, I miss my old face. We all know that when we lose weight, our faces get snatched. I'm literally just doing this for my face. The body is cool. That's great, but I can get laid either way. I really just miss my old face. So stay tuned for that because I'm sure I'll have some kind of offering talking about what it's like. Leo's, girl, it's not Leo season. That was a gift for the Aquarius. It's Aquarius season. I love Leos. Y'all always pop up. All right, I really have to go now. I will keep you posted when our self-mastery sessions start, probably late in February. And they're going to be 6-week sessions discussing different parts of self-mastery. Everybody just voted on here that they want it to be a group setting so that we can have some kind of engagement. So I'm cool with that. A little group therapy never hurt nobody. They will take place on Sundays because Sunday's my sacred day to do this kind of work. I will keep you guys posted, and I promise it'll be reasonably priced so that we can get as many people in as possible, but it will not be free because human beings do not invest in what they don't pay for. Talk about it. And also my time is valuable. All right, love y'all. Bye.